Hello and welcome in. You're not seeing things. We are diving right into July here. It is Sunday afternoon and we're not quite done with June yet. We have a little bit of a crossover week here as we step into the new week. It is still the final day of June on Monday, but then we dive into July. And so I'm going to get that going here in the midst of an incredibly busy weekend. I have a party to attend to here this afternoon. So I wanted to come in for our card pulls to get the energy flowing. And I'm really excited to share with you all of the beautiful elements that have come in. And I'm really excited because I was kind of bummed that last week it was really busy here since the kids have been out of school and kind of adjusting and trying to settle into new schedules. I really didn't get to give our week ahead spread last week the kind of attention I like to share on social media, our daily cards, and creating our little reels that I do each day. And I didn't have a chance to do that, so I wasn't quite ready to let go of that beautiful Ascension Tarot from Dani'el Norman that we were working with. So I thought, how about we flow into another one of her amazing decks, which is the Astral Mermaid Tarot, which is perfect for this beach and aquatic theme that we're diving into that is crossing over, bringing in these elements of depth and riding waves, but also crossing into that galactic and astral plane where we're merging the two in the most beautiful way. So we have some amazing aura sprays here. I have a bunch of elements that my daughter Elena chose for our solstice altar. We had this beautiful, inner child shining summer solstice altar for the readings that I'm offering. I continue to offer those seasonal readings here for the rest of this month. If you did want to snag either a summer or winter solstice reading, those were quite popular. I did a bunch of them last weekend, and now as we get ready to dive into this first full month of the new season, whether you are in the northern or southern hemisphere, summer or winter, there is a spread for that. And so what I did was I took a lot of the seashells and the sea glass and some of the elements that she chose to usher in the new season and incorporated them into our July altar. So I'm going to get into that much more in the empowerment pack for anyone who wants to come along with me. As I mentioned over here on the Empowerment Sharecast, if you're watching there, or if you're catching this in one of my social media spaces, my free Empowerment Sharecast is an awesome way to just dip your toe into Empowered Tarot and kind of see what I do, the different tools that I work with, and the way that we weave them in. The spiritual and the everyday, making it very accessible and practical and all about your empowerment. The free space that I offer is just tucked away from the noise of social media. You're welcome to request a personal card pull for this week. We're going to get into these cards here in a moment, tapping into our collective energy. So that means that you're invited to take what resonates from these cards, leave the rest. That's how it works with a collective reading, but there's always someone there to pick it up. I love to hear from you as to the wild ways that your week unfolds, that one way or another, these cards make themselves known. But if you want some more personal guidance, I do offer you that complimentary personal card pull where I send you a private video over here on Marco Polo, the free app, and just share with you a little more deeply how the energies this week may present themselves for you. And then we really get into it with my comprehensive offerings, the empowerment packs. So please keep your eyes peeled. I will be providing either in the caption or just after these videos today with our week ahead messages, the ways we can work together this month and really get into it. So let's do this. I am going to spray. I brought in the Galactic Platinum Ray energy just before coming on here. And I'd like to also bring in this element of flow, of course, because the water element and tapping into that frequency where, again, in the empowerment pack for our month ahead reading, I'll be getting into my channeled words here. Welcome the waves. And so that's going to apply in a whole bunch of ways that are going to weave in throughout this month. So let's get started right there with one of my favorite oracle decks, Whispers of the Ocean from Angela Hartfield. Beautiful, beautiful deck and messages that come from this. So we're going to start things off because that first reading we do each month, that first week, does tend to set the tone for not just that week ahead, but the entire month. So we bring in first this oracle card to sort of set the tone, to see what we may expect around the energies of July. There's actually a whole bunch of things going on astrologically to talk about, which we'll dip into this week when I share the energetic weather for this week, what's going on in the cosmos, and then, of course, as the month unfolds. So let's see what we get here. First card coming up is our oracle message. One card, please, for the collective. And of course, this is all coming to you in divine timing. So whenever you tune in here, these messages are for you. Wow, that is gorgeous. So I love this crossover moment. Number 7 coming in here for the 7th month, and all of these beautiful cosmic and mystic energies that we're tuning into. But last month, June, we had a theme of rays of energy coming in with the rainbow, and that all rays lead to rising. So that no matter where we are on the spectrum, no matter how you experience the month of June and where you are here in this moment, it doesn't have to be all rainbows and sunshine. It's about all of the rays and the fact that the rainbow came on the other side of the storm, right? And now we get into riding the waves, the ebbs and the flows. So this is saying, dancing in the rainbow, break free from whatever you feel is holding you back. Express happiness. Find out what you truly desire. So this is going to be a beautiful card. Again, getting us in touch with inner child, joy, frequency, but also kind of moving through whatever it is that we feel is holding us back. So we will check that one out first when we get into the messages. Let's get our 5 cards out here and see what's coming forward in our week ahead spread. So we pull a card for each day of the week as a placeholder, but it weaves a story for us. So Monday holds the space to kick off the week and kind of set the tone. So we'll see what's coming through there. One card, please, from the beautiful Astral Mermaid. This is such a fun deck. I love bringing in, of course, yes, the Fool, 0. We're starting new and fresh with a new month, a fresh calendar page for us to dive into. So new beginnings here, just setting out, are bubbling up. Of course, Monday is the final day of June. So we're at that midpoint where we're switching over from one to the other, completing one thing and launching into something new. We have the Fool coming in there. Beautiful. Loving the bubbles I'm seeing on both of those cards too. What's bubbling up here for us? Tuesday indicates a potential blocker challenge this week. What might we expect in the way of a potential blocker challenge that's coming up? It is July 1st. Let's see. I'll be telling you about Sirius Gateway this week, which is quite remarkable. Oh, 3 of water. Okay, so this would be the 3 of cups and that energy of coming together, of celebration, of tribe, and really feeling that cohesion and flow, which in some cases we may be feeling a little friction there, or in some way, things that have an opportunity to be smoothed out. So we'll see how that could be showing up for us this week in the way of a block or a challenge. In our circles, in groups and settings and such. So now we see what comes in for Wednesday, which is our midweek blessing. A midweek blessing. There we go. Another 3, the 3 of fire. I'm loving the dolphins I'm seeing too. I love that coming in. On our oracle card, and now here in the Wednesday energy as a midweek blessing, and that beautiful number of 3, of fire, or Three of Wands. And so we had this as our kicking off the week last week, where we were poised all at once, past, present, future. And we were really being discerning about how we wield our wands in the world. And just because we have wands to wield doesn't mean they need to be wielded or should be. We were getting into all of that. So a continuation of that conversation as we move into now, a new week and a new month, we have that frequency coming in of 3. So that's interesting that we got a 0 and 2 3s so far. And now Thursday will be how we are growing this week. And again, first week of the month, we kind of pan out into the whole, see what we may expect here in July. Ooh, the Queen of Earth. Beautiful. Queen of Pentacles vibes. She's been around too. We had the Queen of Pentacles she was the Queen of Crystals in the Ascension Tarot deck, and we had her come in as a potential blocker challenge. Then she came back in another position last week. We've been feeling this energy of getting down to earth to our abundance and what we have to work with, and how we have an opportunity to see all that we have brought forward in the way of self-made abundance and manifestation, and the ability to create over time with patience, with perseverance. And so again, we kind of get that energy of looking back over things and being poised, which is, kind of that message that we were bringing in with that 3 of Wands about past, present, future, all at once, determining next moves, waiting for our wave. And so feeling all of that with this energy too. That is beautiful with those lilies and the vibe that she's giving off there. So we'll tune into her for our Thursday. How are we growing this week, and what may we expect in terms of growth throughout the month of July? Finally, Friday, we're going to pull our final card here, see what is wrapping up this week, putting a little punctuation mark on these messages to get us started. This is, of course, the deck I will be using for the month ahead energy reading. So if you work with me under the Empowerment Pack this month, you will receive your own personal month ahead energy reading. And that will include 3 cards from this deck for your beginning, middle, end of the month, as well as an oracle card from this beautiful Whispers of the Ocean deck. So let's see what is punctuating here with Friday. There we go. 8 of Air. So 8 of Swords, offering us an opportunity to expand how we are looking at things, how we're perceiving our thoughts, our ideas. I didn't mention yet, I will, as we move into the throughout the energetic weather this month. We have 3 planets and the asteroid Chiron going retrograde this month, which means we're going to start to feel these pre-shadow energies coming in of 3 planets, including Mercury, going retrograde. Mercury ruling over our thoughts, communication, the mind. So this may be a little opportunity for us to connect in proactively ahead of the curve to flow with those energies and to get into those rhythms. Because as I always say with retrograde, it is nothing to be fearful of. It is about being mindful of just understanding the natural rhythms of the universe that we move throughout the year and getting in flow with those things. So we'll talk a little bit about that as well. Okay, I am going to see what I have here in terms of time to start diving into these messages ahead of the family party I have to attend, but I will be back and it will be seamless to those of you that are catching this on the replay nonetheless. So stay tuned, and I look forward to connecting with you for this week ahead. Much love. All right, let's kick things off with some energetic weather. And coming in here like 4th of July fireworks, we have a whole bunch of aspects to chat about here right out the gate in July. So we start off with July 2nd through 7th, the Sirius Gateway. Now, during the first week of July, our sun is aligning with Sirius, a star known as our spiritual sun. And this alignment unlocks high frequency energy that can help to evoke new ideas and unlock intuitive brain waves. We may be feeling a greater desire for freedom, and that any ideas that we may have been sitting on could feel more palpable and manageable. And this is a great time for innovation, thinking differently, and aligning with our spiritual selves. Sirius holds some sensitive energy that can also be used for healing mind, body, and soul. So I'm really looking at that 8 of air that just punctuated our spread this week, the 8 of swords, because that is all about kind of restricted thinking. You actually see there's a tentacle of an octopus holding on to that mermaid's tail, kind of holding it back and keeping it bound. So we'll talk about the way we can step into this beautiful energy this week to expand beyond that and really tap into it. Now, as I mentioned, heading up the retrogrades this month, right out the gate, July 4th, Independence Day in the US, we have Neptune retrograde. So Neptune is the planet of dreams and illusions, and it's just moved into Aries earlier this year, but now it's stationing retrograde, which is going to give us a little break from any new lessons that would have been coming up for us since its arrival into this new wing of the zodiac. And Neptune retrograde can expose untruths and bring illusions to the surface for examination. So if you've been suspicious that you haven't been receiving the truth in some aspects, Neptune retrograde is a good time to investigate and to find answers. You will most likely find that the truth will be revealed. Neptune retrograde can sometimes stifle our creative inspirations, but this setback will only propel us further once Neptune stations direct again on December 10th. So we'll be settling into this retrograde for a bit, quite timely here as we're tuning into the depths of the ocean this month, but one for you to note here as we move into July. Now, also overlapping that, we have July 3rd through 4th, Venus conjunct Uranus. Now, Venus, the planet of love and relationships, aligns with a rather volatile Uranus, which is sitting at the final degree of Taurus. Now, Venus and Uranus coming together in Taurus could stir some important relationship matters that have been a theme for you since 2018. So a little time machine moment here. What's been going on relationship-wise, relationships of all kinds, since 2018. So we may finally be able to make the changes that we've been longing for in that regard. Or if we've been working hard on the relationships in our lives, this is a time when we can see some progress. So if a relationship or even a creative project has been on rocky ground, some clarity may also be gained. Woohoo, that sounds amazing. So yeah, a little bit of opportunity here to take another look at some relationship aspects that have been a long time in coming and finding some clarity and some solid ground there. Now, also, this is the last one I'm sharing, but again, it's a busy couple of days. July 4th, Venus in Gemini. So Venus is moving into one of the most social signs of the zodiac. So we may find that our social calendars are filling up, or we may feel more extroverted than we usually are. So if you're looking to improve your social life, this is a great time to put some conscious intention in that direction. Now, as Gemini is the sign of communication and Venus can bring creativity, this is a good time for things like creative storytelling, podcasting, blogging, writing and expressing yourself in a way that could be far-reaching in a way that connects you socially with others, and utilizing technology and leveraging there is pinging for me as well. So something for us to consider as we continue on into our exploration of this week. So let's take a look at our cards, starting with the Whispers of the Ocean Oracle message. All right, our first card that we are exploring here is this beautiful Whispers of the Ocean Oracle card, number 7, Dancing in the Rainbow. Break free from whatever you feel is holding you back. Express happiness. Find out what you truly desire. Feeling happy is very much connected to how you perceive events, your roles, your opportunities, and what you have or don't have. Focus your attention on the positive things in your life. Create a balance between the negatives and positives you observe. Make a commitment to finding happiness for yourself. Express your creative self. What are you wanting more of in your life? This card tells you that no matter where you go or what you do, your optimistic and glowing energy will follow you and bring you happiness and joy. You charm others because you can always see the bright side, and you bring affection into people's lives. This is a beautiful, loving ability that will get you through the tough times and will help you succeed. You are also at a point where you can share your utmost individuality and success with others. Expand and be willing to express who you are and what you stand for. Shine love on those you care about. Now, this card is showing us the Hawaiian spinner dolphin, which is known to leap above the water and perform athletic feats in the air. Play is an essential part of the dolphin's way of life. You are presently in a time of new creative dimensions, curiosity, trust, and playfulness. Be open, breathe, and stay in harmony with your surroundings. The Hawaiian spinner dolphin reminds you to balance your daily life and let go of stress. Find ways to express your happiness. So as I was reading through that, I was seeing a couple of our cards this week and weaving it in with that energetic weather that we were just talking about. So, we have the Fool's New Beginning setting off into this week. And then we have the 3 cards that came in, the 3 of water and the 3 of fire. Water being in the potential blocker challenge, which does speak to our relationships. And as we were just talking, some bumpiness around relationships could be coming in here through some of the energetic weather that is bringing healing opportunities for launching into creative projects or feeling some more clarity around our collaborations and co-creations. And then, of course, we have the 3 of fire, which is that past, present, future, featuring 3 dolphins. One, which is actually leaping out of the water. So I'm definitely feeling a lot of overlap here in the symbolism that's coming forward. And of course, just at the center of it all is the beautiful dolphin as a symbol of joy and joyful expression, play, and the inner child. So a lot of healing opportunities I'm feeling coming in here. And again, dancing in the rainbow, because we understand that with every ray, right, and there can be rays of a lower vibration, of a lower frequency, of not feeling so sunny and playful and happy and joyful and full of creative ideas and relationship harmony. So in bringing all of that together and dancing in it, flowing in it, riding the waves, this is where we start to create our theme that we'll be exploring throughout this month. So from here, we're going to roll into our 5-card tarot spread, where once again, we'll get into collective messages from a high level. And then if you would like a personal card pull this week, feel free to reach out and request that from me. I will be doing those on the other side of the comprehensive work that we'll be diving into with the Empowerment Pack for everyone who wants to really go there and join me for that. Let's get into now our collective messages for the week. Well, good morning. Happy Monday, final day of June. And I am hustling over here because I'm just about to go into some July recordings, little stars and cards recording with my soul sis, Moonlight Soul. We're going to be jumping into these July energies. And of course, we have the Empowerment Pack kicking off. So I just wanted to pop in here for a sec. Just to share about today's card, quite appropriately, card 0, the Fool. We're leaping into things, but we don't quite know a lot yet, right? We're just dipping our fins in. And I just wanted to share the Astral Mermaid's perspective on this Beautiful card. I love the bubbles. I'm really feeling the things that are bubbling up, but also like an effervescence as well as being available to us to kind of take that and allow that to make us more buoyant, have to feel a little more able to stay afloat in the midst of all the things. And so this card talks about the fact that you don't know a lot right now, but you are willing to learn. You're willing to put yourself into situations and alternate realities in order to gain insight. And sometimes you will feel alone, but know that you have your guide with you. So remember, the traditional fool has a white dog by his side, and there is this sense of purity and loyalty and companionship and guidance that's there, overlighting the fool's journey as they set off. So as we are poised to jump into a new month, we have this energy coming in saying, a new journey has begun. Yes, you are questioning yourself. This is normal. Question it, but jump in. The outcome could be better than you ever imagined. No matter the outcome, lessons will be learned and memories will be made. Memories are the books of your life. Get out of your comfort zone. Step outside yourself into the unknown. Have no fear, for it is in the depths of the unknown that your soul will rise to your greatest triumphs. There is a strong energy within you, pushing and pulling you along the way. An inner knowing that gives you that extra push to do something without that sense of fear. Allow your guides to walk you towards your highest achievements. Have faith in the whispers that you hear and the nudges that you feel. A new portal has opened for you. So yeah, just feeling that sense of newness, and with that can come some trepidation, some angst. But there is a sense of excitement and just, again, surrender so that you can jump in for the experience, whatever it is, and not pressuring it to have a definition. Because yes, if you're trying something new or you're feeling inspired to try something new, but are hesitant to do so for fear of failure or feeling like you're not ready or you don't know what you're doing or you don't have enough or whatever that, that's the monkey mind, right? So there was a reference here that had me thinking too of the beautiful Three of Wands that we'll have later this week. Actually, it's our midweek blessing. And that is where, again, it talked about what we have are our memories, and the Three of Wands having us looking at that past, present, future all along and allowing the memories, the past, the knowingness that we have, the information that we've gleaned from whatever experiences bring us to this moment and whatever's bubbling up, because, hey, Cancer season, whatever's bubbling up, allow it to inform you. But again, there's that whole take the best and leave the rest, and allow it to open up those pathways for healing. So we'll talk more about it when we dive in. New beginnings, new ways of doing things. We're doing it a little different this week, but I'm excited to see what comes up. So have a beautiful day, and we will talk soon. Much love. All right, let's go back into our regularly scheduled programming with Tuesday's card for the potential block or challenge this week. And as I'm coming on here, we have a afternoon thunderstorm rolling through, which hopefully won't be too problematic, but interesting as we have some things bubbling up underwater here with this beautiful Three of Water, Three of Cups, representing what may be a potential block or challenge this week. And there's a couple of different ways, that we can look at this, as I said in the card poll. Some of the astrological weather this week, speaking to relationships and those dynamics and things coming up for some clearing and clarifying, and always, speaking of our truths or expressing something. But here we have this aspect of feels and flow and emotion with the water. And this Astral Mermaid message is speaking to, in the challenged point of view, that right now you may feel like being alone to perhaps create and work on your projects and not feeling like entering into the social scene. And rather you're finding your energetic influence in hermit status, going within. 3 is a crowd when you want to be left to your own accord. Another alternative meaning for this card in a challenge state can be around overindulgence, and specifically where the cups are concerned. So this can speak literally to overindulgence of alcohol. Going out into party mode can be at play here. And it's cautioning to be careful to find balance in how much you're sipping into the social scene. Now, it's funny because, as I mentioned, I had a really busy weekend, and part of that included a lot of socializing, graduation party, birthday party, and there was, different people partaking and indulging in things, and certainly, keeping maybe longer hours. We were out pretty late. The whole family on Saturday was a long day. Poor Cooper was here home alone. So, definitely any kind of overindulgence or extreme social settings can call for, a recalibrating of energy or kind of coming back into self, needing some downtime. And, everyone has varying degrees of sensitivity there, but a lot of us who, need that time to reset just from, sensitivities and picking up a lot of things, just going out into places where there can be a lot of peopling and a lot of energies, but then you add in the social component and all of those aspects. And certainly that could be something for some people this week as well. Like I mentioned, in the energetic weather, we have Neptune stationing retrograde. So that also is bringing up all of the water, the flow, the feels, the rush, the flooding of waters as well, which can bring up a lot of emotion, and specifically around relationships and those dynamics as well. So those are all, ways that we may be feeling this week, with opportunities for us to look at. And if you're saying whether it is about just wanting some downtime, some solitude to be able to focus on a project or take a nap, whatever it may be, that is very likely to be something that people will experience at some point this week, moving through these dynamics. But we kind of have a counterpart here to take a look at with the blessing of the three that's coming in over on Wednesday. So let's take a look at that card now. All right, Wednesday coming in here with our midweek blessing, where 3 is not a crowd. We have this beautiful 3 of fire, 3 of wands. And this is a card that came up last week. Actually just talked about it today earlier. I was recording Stars and Cards with my soul sis, Mila, and we were pulling the cards for the July energies for the collective. We'll be sharing that tomorrow on July 1st. If you want to keep your eyes peeled here on the Sharecast, I'll share an exclusive preview. I'll share the link to the video. It'll be debuting on my YouTube channel. But we mentioned this 3 of wands because there is this sense of, past, present, future culminating here in this moment. And it's up for review. It's up for reflection in a way that we're not taking any big action in this moment, but there's definitely some heat. There's definitely some inspirational fire energy that's starting to come up here that's going to inevitably be about making some move, in a forward direction, that this energy comes in saying, what it is, the energy that you put out into the universe, you will always get back, positive or negative. Your energy is like a beacon or a magnet. It draws others to you based upon your frequency and intentions. Stay true to your dreams, stay true to your heart, and you will find more and more alignment coming to fruition all around you. Take a moment to pause and give gratitude towards yourself for bringing these blessings into your life. So yeah, again, we talk about expectation equals magnetization, the law of attraction. If we're sitting here taking in the scene, whether we are reflecting back, looking at what's right in front of us, or projecting into the future, or some combination of all 3, the lens through which you're doing that and how you're coming to the table, what you're putting out there is that beacon, that bat signal that's calling out to the universe of the frequency that you are in, and the universe will respond in kind. So you will see more of that. So this is where intention and energy really matter. So this is also why we don't want to find ourselves oversaturated in whether it be socializing or, being out there with a lot of external forces without coming back into self and sort of resetting and refreshing and being able to come back to that 0 point, which is, right where we start this week as we are preparing to step into July. So this one just definitely brings, you can see the difference even in the energy, the color that it's bringing in is warming. There's a warmth here, which is kind of bringing in that fire to create that under, the heat that I feel is helping to move and fuel, but perhaps not before it does bring up some of that lower, passion, whether we're talking about being inspired or, having a desire to do something can sometimes come up as anger, frustration, things that are coming to a boil. All these bubbles coming up can be like effervescence, can be like boiling, how do we see it and how do we perceive it? And, how do we use it as well? So rather than sort of allowing ourselves to stew in something or to really steep in something that's particularly heavy or of a lower vibration, I kind of feel like, like when you see an underwater view of like a diver and they dive down in and you can see that underwater camera and they're way down there at the bottom, but they use that. They use that going down to the bottom to propel, to push themselves up and allow that to create the buoyancy. So it's a blessing, no matter how it shows up. So however this potential block or challenge meets the 3, the co-creation, the collaboration of this card, use it. Use it and allow it to help you to elevate is what I'm feeling, to really, and then ultimately we want to be seated here like this beautiful Queen of Pentacles, in this sense of abundance. The thunder's starting to ratchet up a little bit out there, so I'm just looking outside. But yes, we're allowing that storm to create the cleansing and the clearing and the break in the heat. So again, nature speaks. Nature is always speaking, even if I can't speak intelligently from a meteorological standpoint. See how it points back to all of these collective energies that are coming in here for us this week. So let's go ahead now and take a look at Thursday coming in on how we are growing this week and into this month. Now we go to Thursday for how we are growing. And this is just such a beautiful card, this Queen of Earth, the Queen of Pentacles, and loving just the energy that this is bringing in. This is a card that's come up a couple of times as we were moving through the latter part of June, where we have this energy of being seated in your garden. Sorry, the thunder really is rolling. My husband came in after that thunderclap I mentioned when we were on Wednesday and said he was pretty sure something had been hit out there in the distance because it was quite loud. I guess I couldn't hear it as loud as it was over my talking, but if it's showing up on here, that's what's going on. So I took a look here at this Astral Mermaid perspective on this beautiful queen. And I had thought these were lilies, but I see now they are tulips. We have these beautiful August lilies that remind me of these opening petals here. The Queen of Earth. In the tulip fields that the light grew sits in the queen here in all her glory. What began as pure determination grew into such beauty. In the field, you also see the frangipani tree that the 7 of earth grew. All can stand the test of time if it is grown from solid foundations. Nothing comes easy. So here we go back to, and remember, we had a 7 of earth or 7 of pentacles that was about the pause and the reflect on everything that has brought us to this point and, the progress and to be proud and to allow us all the P's. And so these are energies, if you've been tuning in and just in recent weeks, this has been building. So we come in here collectively and we turn the calendar's page and we get the Fool, card 0. We're resetting while still navigating these waters, while still being in these choice points of determining, where to from here. And then this is giving us a glimpse as to what is possible in our growth and what we've been cultivating. So I love that it links back to the 7, because now she sits here as the queen, knowing that this was a lot of hard work and dedication and, and then this abundance that comes forward that is also shared abundantly. So how we are growing, practical and down to earth. You are the ultimate working mother. This is definitely divine feminine energy and tends to speak to a self-made woman or working mother type energy of creating this beautiful foundation in the home and your home and being home within yourself. So a really nice energy coming in here saying, you've created a life for yourself and your family and community. I'll say too, like, whether or not you are, if you mother in your life in some capacity or another, it is the way in which you nurture and you cultivate that energy within your home and with others, which again, that 3 of Cups is also highlighting. So you created this life for yourself where you balance your responsibilities, home, life, and work. You are an independent within a dependent unit. You know the true value of family, financial stability, and your spiritual connection to the outer realms of the universe. Your energy is magnetic, drawing others into your light to gain from your inner wisdom, support, and unconditional love. So you see, again, there is that sharing abundantly. You draw others in just by sitting there on your beautiful, looks like a wood stump, throne, which I love. So there's this energy of being connected to nature, very grounded, down to earth, but also beautiful and abundant in sharing. And also, I'm going to say caring in this loving nature in which you have brought into your life things that are now coming into a full bloom that you can then be a beacon for others just sitting there on the stump, So there's this sense of, never underestimating the impact that you have on other people by being your most authentic and joy-filled self. So again, when we're making the plans, when we're drafting it up, when we're deciding how we want to spend our energy and with whom, factor in, who you wish to be on the inside and shining to the outside. Queen of Earth coming in here to really anchor us into potential for growth this week and throughout this month ahead. Let's take a look at our final card for Friday. So now we have our final card, which is our lone air energy coming in this week with the 8 of Swords, which I know this tied into, as we were pulling the cards yesterday, which was Sunday, there were some connections through the astrological weather this week and this notion of like that tentacle that's sort of pulling us down into a lower vibrational perspective or a limited perspective in some way that, unable to potentially see the full picture. An 8 of air would bring in for us. And yet we have some energies coming in this week in the cosmos that are making it possible, perhaps. I believe July 4th, the Venus in Gemini was the one that we were talking about, that being one of the most social signs of the zodiac, cue those 3 of cups coming in here with the socializing, finding those calendars filling up, or we may feel called to be more extroverted than introverted, enter in that conflict, right? Because on one hand, we might prefer to just be making it an internal, go within hermiting mode, and yet there's all this external stuff, or vice versa, which brings in that, that conflict. But, if we're in a state where, as Gemini being the sign of communication, Venus can bring up, creativity being highlighted and such. This is a good time for creative communication, creative expression, right? So in case we're feeling in some way blocked or challenged or limited, that would be an 8 of air perspective. And how do we shift? So with this 8 of air, it's saying It's okay. You can open your eyes. There is nothing there. I know you're scared, but if you could just open your eyes and look around, you'll see that a whole other path is awaiting you. Breathe deep breaths and open. So there's this expansiveness that's available to us through the 8 of air, through feeling the contraction, through feeling the tightness, through feeling the limitation. We can then expand on the out breath. So it says, your thoughts are the only thing trapping you from moving forward towards transformation and enlightenment. You have created this fear mindset within you that you are holding on to so dearly. But if you look a moment and see the multitude of paths that surround you, you would see that you have the freedom to transform. If you change the way that you think, then you will be able to change your life, right? When the way that you look at things change, the things you look at begin to change, right? So along with the transit that I was just speaking to with Venus and Gemini, the beautiful energy this week of the Sirius Gateway is ushering in for us this week opportunity here to step into this alignment of a high frequency energy that can help us to unlock those intuitive brain waves where we may have been feeling stifled, we may have been feeling limited. And then now this brings about, and this is very parallel to what the words are that I just shared, that it says, this can help us to unlock those intuitive brain waves, and we may feel a greater desire for freedom. And any ideas that we've been sitting on, holding tightly, keeping under wraps, that's the 8 of air, holding down, keeping it tethered in some way, now having an opportunity to open up and expand. And so this is the energetic weather we're moving through as we step deeper into this week. The Sirius Gateway is from July 2nd through the 7th. And so we're building up now into this energy. It's a great time for innovation, for thinking differently, aligning with our spiritual selves, but also bringing through some sensitive energy that can also be used for some healing of mind, body, and soul. So beautiful that we had all of that here this week through the elements that showed up to support us as we step into July. So as we move into the week, I'm going to be diving into now the empowerment packs and the month ahead energies. So once again, everyone is invited to join me. So if you would like to continue a deep dive, please reach out and we'll get you all set up to join for July. We're rolling into, I'm going to reset here and I'll be tuning in to pull the color, crystal, and spirit animal for the month of July. We'll be focusing on as well as some oracle messages and then recording that first part 1. So if you'd like to join me for that, you can choose to dip your toe in with just one reading, the Hello Empowerment, or all 3 for the month, which is the empowerment pack. So for those of you already joining me, I'll see you soon. And if anyone would like a personal card pull this week for some more insight into these cards, please reach out and let me know. I'll be doing those later in the week on the other side of those empowerment pack recordings. So thank you all so much for being here and for flowing with it. We're here in our new space for the month. Please feel free to reach out and let me know how you're doing as we transfer over here from June into July. And also, if you know anyone who might be interested in what we've got going on here, please feel free to share. Really appreciate those recommendations and support of my loving service. Sending you all so much love. Let's make it a beautiful month ahead. We'll talk soon.